All protocol, as earlier mentioned, is observed. So a very good afternoon to you all. It's really my honor and privilege to be at this momentous occasion where one of our very own supervised financial institutions is being welcomed into the Sustainability Standards and Certification Initiative. A big congrats and kudos to you all, the directors, management and staff of Pride Microfinance Limited for this huge achievement. And I really want to thank Patricia Jangole of UDV for not only being the first, for leading the first institution to this certification, but also for championing the introduction of the standards into the Ugandan financial system. I have had several rounds of discussions with her, and I must say I benefited, and it is going to be very evident soon. So, by taking this step, you have demonstrated our industry leadership in the commitment to create sustainable value for your shareholders, customers, and the nation at large. And I salute you for that. Moreover, the initiative is reflective of, and it does complement your vision, which is, quote, to be the leading provider of customer-centric inclusive financial solutions for the social and economic development of all Ugandans, unquote. I would also like to thank the European Organization for Sustainable Development for extending its efforts into Uganda and heeding Pride's request for sustainability certification. This certification process refines an institution's governance and management structures to entrench sustainability principles in the policy framework, subsequently providing directions for all other relevant components, including technology, business models, operations, products, stakeholder relations, and human capital. In our view, sustainability certification also provides for the integration of environmental, social, and governance, that is ESG criteria, into the business or investment decisions for the lasting benefit of both clients and society at large. So, before I come to the sustainability standards and the certification initiatives, let me just say something on what Bank of Uganda is doing on this sustainability, because we are walking this journey in steps. So, I begin by saying that the efforts to promote sustainability are increasingly becoming globalized, particularly when we consider environmental sustainability issues like the fight against climate change. As a financing agent for economic activity, the financial sector is uniquely positioned to champion such efforts. So, having poked the bear, allow me to briefly talk about climate change. This is in no way a new topic of discussion, but the echoes in the corridors have certainly become much more louder. As we're all aware, the effects of climate change do not only impact the environment we live in, but also threaten our socioeconomic livelihoods in terms of health, particularly the vulnerable population, and the physical damage to both public and private infrastructure, among others. From a central bank perspective, climate change has a direct impact on our price stability mandate through its effects on inflation. During the year 2022, we have witnessed the impact of drought, which has pushed up food crop inflation from the lows of 0.7% year-on-year in February 2022 to now nearly 19% in August 2022. So, we therefore think that the financial sector has a major role to play in this fight. The Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Honorable Matia Kasaija, in his opening address on December 2nd, 2021, at the World Development Forum, stated that, quote, no government can finance sustainable growth through the national budget alone. We need financial institutions, but only those financial institutions that can do business in a responsible manner, unquote. So looking forward, as a central bank, we expect increased financing by the financial sector to oil and the gas sector, particularly in the western Uganda, and to the manufacturing sector in support of value addition for export promotion and import substitution in Uganda. Given the likely increased contribution to greenhouse gas emissions from these sectors, this financing ought to be counterbalanced with increased financing to environmentally and socially sustainable activities. Such linkages demonstrate the importance for financial sector players to proactively adjust their business models and craft financing instruments that are aimed at promoting minimum environmental, social, and governance standards, thus meeting the Minister's call for conducting business in a responsible manner. All financial institutions. As a regulatory authority, therefore, we are sharpening our focus in this area. Through our recently launched strategic plan for 2022 to 2027, Bank of Uganda is embarking on initiatives to address environmental, social, and governance standards in the financial sector, particularly the impact on climate change risks. Among these, we shall work with supervised financial institutions to issue guidelines on climate change risk management in the sector and also incorporate climate change effects to our macroprudential and stress testing frameworks. In order to promote a wider adoption, Bank of Uganda is already engaging Uganda Bankers Association in this respect and is also part of the National Climate Change Task Force constituted to effect policy and regulatory considerations in line with the National Climate Change Act 2021. Aside from the climate change issues, the past few years have demonstrated that we live in a highly dynamic environment, the age of disruption and digitalization. These times necessitate new thinking, new mindsets, and new rules in order to remain economically and financially viable. Financial technology, which is known as fintechs, for example, is reshaping financial services in Africa through providing us with infinite possibilities to achieve shared and inclusive growth that can drive socio-economic transformation. And here we're looking at social sustainability through inclusive financing. During the pandemic, the adoption of technology enabled us to continue accessing financial services and empowered initiatives like working at home for sustained activity, particularly in the services sector. Additionally, despite the devastating social effect, this period saw the global greenhouse gas emissions cut by an estimated 7%. This is the sharpest annual fall ever recorded, resulting from the seizure of transport services and reduced congestion in cities. The additive impact from the simple use of technologies to bring financial services to the palm of our hands or to limit the need to move to and fro the workplaces all year round cannot therefore be underestimated, and such efforts to increase technological solutions should continuously be promoted in this disruptive environment, especially in the business processes. As the central bank, we have embraced this new age and plan to adopt technologies in the core regulatory services while remaining mindful of the associated risks. Among other initiatives, we shall complement our supervisory capacity with what we call SupTech, build capacity in big data analytics for policy decision making, and issue regulatory guidelines for emerging issues such as cloud computing and cybersecurity. We therefore pledge to offer Pride Microfinance Limited and all other financial institutions the necessary support to achieve the sustainable standards and certification initiatives and conduct business in a sustainable manner on a continuous basis. So based on our benchmarking initiatives in this area, the central bank sees the following direct benefits when financial institutions join this certification. One, it enables financial institutions to align their operations and sustainability principles in a structured manner. Two, it broadens the institution's scope and understanding of sustainability issues in the overall financial services sector. And finally, three, it provides the institution with visibility on international sustainability scene, which opens access to financing channels from climate smart funds, as an example. We therefore encourage institutions to emulate Pride's action towards incorporating sustainability principles in their core businesses, as this is our intent for the entire financial sector. I repeat, it is our intent of the central bank for the entire financial sector. I, however, would like to caution financial institutions against piecemeal adoption of sustainability principles that result into greenwashing, like the minister said. And therefore, this certification will be one of those ways to ensure that it doesn't happen. But as a regulator, we will be very mindful about supporting institutions that only adopt holistic approach to sustainability. In this same regard, we know that the process requires institution-wide buy-in, commitment, capacity building at all levels, and should be fully championed by the board and management and staff if we are to reap the benefits, just like the case of Pride Microfinance we've seen. Their board is here, the chairman is here, the MD is here, the staff are here, and it's the same story with Uganda Development Bank. Honorable Minister, through your representative, we thank you for consistently supporting and guiding the financial sector on the need for sustainable and inclusive growth to drive prosperity. We have heard your call, and we are making slow but tangible strides to move in the right direction. To the EOSD, we will continue to look to you for certification of our financial institutions, all our financial institutions, and we request that you do not tire of our calls for consultations on sustainability issues, especially as we implement and learn. We are appreciative of this work that you are doing in this area, and thank you once again. Now, finally, to the directors and management of Pride Microfinance Limited, this is by no means intended to pressure you, but we expect that your choice of high impact goals should align and contribute to the country's broad aspirations that are set out in Vision 2040, the National Development Plan 3, and to the attainment of the respective Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, and more importantly, the Central Bank's strategic plan objectives that I have already mentioned. I once again commend you for taking this transformative step in your journey. Like I always do, I don't end without quoting the Bible. In the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 2, I'm reading from the New International Version. St. Paul says, quote, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." Unquote. Colleagues, the world and society has patterns that can be difficult to transform. But through renewing your minds like Pride has done, UDB has done, we can change the way we think to create a more sustainable life for ourselves and the people we serve, and as a result, we'll be doing the good, pleasing, and perfect will of God. Thank you all for listening to me. God bless you.